All right, folks. So here we have a very interesting sequence of events. So yesterday, or the day before, I forget. I don't know what time is. Yesterday, the day before, something happened. And Joe Manchin went on Fox News to basically kill the president's agenda. The entire Build Back Better spending bill, which was already significantly shredded into bits. The original bill was going to be $6 trillion, then it was going to be $3.5 trillion, then it was going to be $2 trillion, then it was going to be $1.75 trillion over 10 years. Again, this is over 10 years. Meanwhile, they just passed an obscene $7 trillion military budget over 10 years, but that's whatever. So now it's just not going to happen at all because Joe Manchin is a little crybaby loser. And then immediately after he gave that interview on Fox News, he went on West Virginia radio to clarify that there was no way he was going to vote for it at all, and that he was just stringing the Democrats along for fun. It was a game to him. And so now we're getting some more information, because now, apparently, the Democratic Party wants us to believe that Joe Biden is actually upset by this. They want us to believe that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are upset. Has Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer made any statement? I don't know. I haven't looked, actually. But I haven't seen it. You'd think I would see it. The Senate Majority Leader, the House Speaker, you'd think I would see it. But I'm on Twitter all day, every day. The only things I follow on Twitter are, like, politics and, like, fucking video games, right? So you'd think I would see Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer making a statement. But I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'll look it up in the middle of the show. But so now Joe Manchin there's some leaks going on, and so this is pretty good. So Joe Manchin privately told colleagues parents use child tax credit money on drugs, is what came out. So after months of haggling with Joe Biden and other Democrats, President Joe Manchin dashed his party's hopes on Sunday by announcing he wouldn't vote for the Build Back Better legislation. Publicly, his biggest gripes about the cost of the bill. That's not true. He said in the Fox interview, actually, it's not about the cost, it's about the provisions. He doesn't like the child tax credit because the parents use it on drugs. It's not about the cost, but okay. But privately, Manchin has told his colleagues that he essentially doesn't trust low-income people to spend government money wisely. In recent months, Manchin has told several of his fellow Democrats that he thought parents would waste monthly child tax credit payments on drugs instead of providing for their children, according to two sources familiar with the senator's comments. All right. Now, are there parents who spend the child tax credit money on drugs? Yes. Duh, of course. That will always happen. Right now, again, it's all about percentages. Right? If it's happening like maybe 1 to 2% of the time, is that really worth destroying the lives of the other 98%? Because it would be foolish to say that no low-income people in the history of the world would ever spend money on drugs. That's a foolish thing to say. That, again, in order for that to destroy the whole child tax credit, right, you'd have to at least say maybe it's going to be 51% of the time. Like 51% of recipients are going to be spending it on drugs. And even then, does that really necessitate the need to destroy the lives of the other 49% who just needed to get by? Right? So again, the idea, right, that, parents spend it on drugs. Yeah, people spend money on drugs. People spend money they don't have on drugs. Because the United States of America is such a shit-fuck country that people in this country feel like they need drugs to just make it to the next day. Now again, what would you, if you want to stop parents from spending money on drugs, maybe you would end the drug war and promote rehabilitative services, no cost, for free. You get free rehabilitation for your drug addictions, and then also you don't have to worry about going to jail, right? Maybe that would stop parents from using government money on drugs, but he doesn't actually give a shit about the drug problem. He doesn't actually give a shit about the opioid crisis that just destroyed West Virginia. He doesn't give a fuck. It's any excuse that he heard somewhere. This is like right-wing Facebook. You know, it's like, you have a right-wing family member who uses Facebook all day, and they always start their, like, political opinions with "I heard" and "I saw," right? And someone told me, right, the famous Trump phrase, many people are saying. That's basically what Joe Manchin is using here. He heard one person somewhere say one thing, and then boom, that's the excuse he needed. He's all good to go. Let's keep reading. Continuing the child tax credit for another year is a core part of the Build Back Better legislation the Democrats had hoped to pass by the end of the year. The policy has already cut child poverty by nearly 30%. Manchin's private comments shocked several senators, who saw it as an unfair assault on his own constituents and those struggling to raise children in poverty. Manchin has also told colleagues he believes the Americans would fraudulently use the proposed paid sick leave policy, specifically saying people would feign being sick and go on hunting trips, a source familiar with the comments told HuffPost. Okay. And what if? Maybe it shouldn't be called paid sick leave and just paid leave. Maybe people should be allowed to take a week off and go on a hunting trip. And? Do you know how many days of the year the Senate is actually working? Because I guarantee you, the average minimum wage worker is working a higher percentage than those in the Senate on a daily basis. So Joe Manchin, the Senate's about to go out for the holidays. Joe Manchin's about to go chill on his yacht for a couple weeks. He doesn't look sick to me. Manchin's office declined to comment for this story. In a statement on Sunday, he said he opposed the Build Back Better agenda largely because of the cost, blah, blah, blah. This is just recapping. Again, this guy is a corrupt coal baron. He gets all of his personal money from fossil fuels and coal. He is a big coal investor. He has his wealth tied to the coal industry. That is why he doesn't want this spending bill, because of climate provisions. He also just doesn't give a fuck about poor people. He's never been poor. He's always been rich, and he's always taken advantage of people. He's a classic corrupt politician. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in the country. Joe Manchin is someone who has been in the Senate. He has been governor of West Virginia. He's been in West Virginia politics for the entirety of the 21st century, and yet West Virginia is still in the back of the bus, so to speak. Why is that? His net worth has multiplied significantly over the course of his public service, and yet the net worths of people that live in West Virginia has decreased significantly since he's been in politics. Can someone answer those questions for me? And also, again, the idea that no one saw this coming, if some stupid-ass bitch in her bedroom, that's me, I'm the stupid-ass bitch, saw this coming, and you're telling me the President of the United States, Joe Biden, didn't see it coming? You're telling me Vice President Kamala Harris, she didn't see this coming? Congressional Progressive Caucus leader and chair, Pramila Jayapal, just took Joe Manchin at his word? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, when sending this bill over to the Senate, she just bought it. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was just like, yeah, sure. You know, I kept that letter secret for about 3 months, but you know, I can totally, yeah. Have they made a statement? I don't know. Anyone, and I mean anyone, who thought Joe Manchin would land on the right side of this is a fool and a moron and a loser. And that's just how it is. Now, again, I hope that the public pressure going now after Joe Manchin considerably right now, I hope it's enough to switch him back. But let's be honest. The bill that should be signed into law by the Senate and the President and the House should be the $3.5 trillion one. Because the entire reason it was negotiated down to what it is now was because of Joe Manchin claiming to be acting in good faith. I say, send it back to the House, $3.5 trillion, then send it to the Senate, and then have Joe Manchin vote against it. Why should we be voting on the bill that Joe Manchin negotiated for if he's just going to publicly destroy the president's agenda? Fuck you, bitch. Let's go back to $3.5 trillion. The House already said that they were fine with that, right? It's not like it should be hard to go back in time where Nancy Pelosi said, oh yeah, $3.5 trillion is great, let's vote on it. Right? They can vote on that, right? It's not going to happen, though. I guarantee you that's not going to happen. I guarantee you this bill, if it passes, is going to get watered down even more to the point where it's nothing but a virtue signaling piece of garbage. And then, let's assume, all right, he says yes, let's vote on it. Then Kyrsten Sinema will vote down. There's always going to be someone in the Democratic Party. And now, again, I want to be very clear at the end of all of these videos, I am not endorsing Republicans. All the Republicans are voting against it. Fuck Republicans, okay? I know that there's people sometimes say, oh, I hate the Democrats, I'm going to vote Republican. No, motherfucker, you're an idiot. If you hate the Democrats, go out and protest, go out and organize, go out and primary these motherfuckers. The 2022 midterms are coming up. If you've got a Senate race, going on, try to, do some canvassing or do some phone banking for the most left-wing senatorial candidate in your state. Do that kind of stuff. Because, again, at the end of the day, the Democrats are only as good as their most far-right, neo-Nazi adjacent member. And right now, that's Joe Manchin. And again, if their furthest to the right member was Cory Booker, we'd be in a lot better place. We'd have a lot better things. Now, again, I do feel like things would be still moving slowly. But again, Republicans are garbage. They literally want to commit genocide on certain populations. They are crazy motherfuckers. They don't believe in washing their hands. They don't believe in germs. They don't believe in fucking science. These motherfuckers are crazy. So I would rather have the incompetent drunk uncle than the fucking guy who's just, running around with machine guns shooting up a mall. I'm sorry. That's what I would rather have. But again, Joe Manchin is the bad guy. But also, everyone who believed him is a dumb guy. And in this instance, guy is gender neutral. But there you go. Fuck Joe Manchin.